So now that you're set up with Zoom, your question probably is, well, how am I going to do the art of improv in a box? Well, in this video, we're going to show you 3 basic but fundamental techniques to help you get the most out of online improv. Why?
Because everything is better with improv.
Better with improv. Let's go.
If we're just meeting for the first time, my name is Keith Williams. I've been practicing, performing, and teaching improv for 10 years plus. You know, one of the first rules of improv is yes and. And it is something that is fundamental whether you're live or on Zoom. So it is the art of accepting and adding on. And it really is a critical, fundamental, foundational piece to improv. So one of the things we would like to do is we'd like to get our students to play a game. And you can try this where you are playing the ad game. So let's take a household object or a noun, something physical, something that we can get from the audience, maybe even through the chat. We ask the players to create an advertisement that will take this object and sell it. But they need to tell us interesting uses for this object. So it would look a little like this. The object is a toothbrush. So player A would say, not only does this toothbrush brush my teeth, but it actually aligns my teeth better than braces. Player B would say, yes, and it really clears up my speaking abilities. It increases my communication skills and allows me to speak more concisely. Player C would say, yes, and it allows you to project your presentation right on the wall. Amazing. So that would be the game, and it will continue on and allow all players to play. So that is the ad game. As you become more of an advanced player, more experienced, yes and can actually become more complicated. Player 1 could say, you always think I'm wrong. And player 2 could say, yes I do. Well, in that case, there was a simple yes and. The players yes anded each other, supported each other on stage, supported each other here on Zoom. But the character actually contradicted himself when character A says, hey, you always think I'm wrong, but character B says, yes, I do, which means that I think you're right in this case, which really contradicts the statement. So player 1 and player 2 could always still yes and each other, but the characters might go in a different direction. So if player 1 says, you always think I'm wrong, and player 2 responds, well, I don't always think you're wrong. In that case, now player 2 yes anded player 1, but the character A said, hey, you always think I'm wrong, but character B said, I don't always think you're wrong, meaning I acknowledge that you made that statement and that I think you're wrong, but not always, which means I don't agree with your statement as per usual. I know that's complicated, but just something to think about when you get more advanced. Those are some of the techniques that you can try. So the third yes and piece that I want to share with you is, as you're yes anding, as you're taking these scenes down the road, they're going to get a little wacky. And your human nature is that you might want to rationalize or normalize it. You might want to rope it in. And I would recommend you don't do that. Go with it. So for an example, if player 1 says, hey George, you've been using that witchcraft again. I think you put a spell on me. Player 2 would say, no Bob, I didn't use witchcraft, and witchcraft is not real. I just don't think it's real. Well, in this case, George denied Bob And a player 2 really denied player 1 altogether there. But the audience themselves, they want to see that scene. So if player 1 says, "Hey George, you've been using that witchcraft, haven't you? I think you put a spell on me." Player 2's response should be a little like, "Yes, I think it's awesome. I put a little witchcraft on you. And you know what? The spell is working like a charm." Now the scene can go in that direction. You can really talk about witchcraft and the effects. This gives player 1 a chance to act as though he's in a spell, and the scene would get very interesting. It could get pretty funny. So yes and is a lot of fun. So go with it. Yes and accept it. Support your partner. Do all those great things. So if you have not seen parts 1 and 2, where we really break down some of the technical and fundamental pieces to doing Zoom and getting the most out of online improv, there's a link that'll send you back, and go check those out. Check those out. We have some free downloads for getting the most out of online improv. I'll also put a link in the description for that as well. So what's next? We will have some more improv techniques, and we will have some actual improv games that you can play with your teams. And so that's it. See ya.